Social simulation games are a subgenre of life simulation game that explore social interactions between multiple artificial lives. The most famous example from this genre is the Sims series of games. History, influences and origins. When The Sims was released in 2000, it was referred to as almost the only game of its kind. But there are several important precursors to The Sims and the social simulation genre. Firstly, the game's creator Will Wright acknowledged the influence of Little Computer People, a Commodore 64 game from 1985. The games are similar, although The Sims is described as having a richer gameplay experience. Secondly, Will Wright also acknowledged the influence of doll houses on The Sims, which have generally also informed the gameplay of this genre. Animal Crossing was released in 2001 for the Nintendo 64 in Japan. While released towards the end of the life cycle of the Nintendo 64, it developed a following that led to it being ported to the Nintendo GameCube and released throughout the world. As the game's popularity has surged, this series has also been described as a social simulation game. Story of Seasons, a series that began in 1996 and is often compared to Animal Crossing, has also been described as a social simulation game. Its social simulation elements are derived from dating sims, a subgenre that dates back to the early 1980s. With games such as Ten's Hitachi no Go-Go in 1985 and Girls' Garden in 1984. Since the initial success of these games in the early 2000s, video game journalists have begun to refer to a group of similar games as belonging to the social simulation game genre. Recent history. Several other social simulation games have emerged to capitalize on the success of The Sims. This includes several sequels and expansion packs, as well as games like singles. Set up your life with heavy similarities. Examples: Alter Ego, a personality computer game released by Activision in 1986. Animal Crossing, a life simulator series by Nintendo. It has also been dubbed as a communication game by the company, as had Cubivore, Doshin the Giant and Gift Peer. Democracy, a government simulation game that was first developed by Positech Games in 2005, with a sequel released in December 2007 and a third game in 2013. Exgi, by Media Republic. Facade, an artificial intelligence-based interactive story created by Michael Matthews and Andrew Stern. Jones in the Fast Lane, by Sierra Entertainment, is one of the earliest life simulators. Kudos series, by Positech Games. Life, the Social Game, is a social game inspired by Conway's Game of Life. Little Computer People, by David Crane, published by Activision in Miami Nights. Singles in the City. Moon RPG Remix Adventure, a social RPG released only in Japan, created by the same designer as Lack of Love and Gift Peer. My Life My Love. Boku no Yumi. Watashi no Nage, a life simulation for the Japanese Famicom system. New York Nights. Success in the City, a social simulation created and designed by Gameloft, released for mobile phones. Real Lives, an educational life simulator by Educational Simulations, where the player is randomly born somewhere in the world and often must deal with third-world difficulties such as disease, malnutrition, and civil war. Singles. Set Up Your Life. Shenmue series. Shin Megami Tensei. Persona. Ten's Hitachi no Go-Go, one of the earliest dating sims, released for the 16-bit and NEC PC 9801 computer in 1985. The Idol Master, an idol raising sim by Namco. The Money Game, a Famicom life simulation about balance love with high finance. The Money Game 2. Kabuto-cha no Kaseki, the Famicom sequel to Money Game. The Princess Maker series by Gainax, a raising sim which the player have to raise an adoptive daughter until she reaches adulthood. The final result varies from a ruling queen to an ordinary housewife, or even a prostitute if the player looks after her poorly. The Sims, by Will Wright, published by each for the PC, and sequels, The Sims 2, The Sims 3 and The Sims 4. The Story of Seasons series, by Marvelous Entertainment, farming simulator, role-playing game, and dating sim rolled into one. Tokimeki Memorial. Tomodachi Life by Nintendo. True Love, a Japanese erotic dating sim and general life simulation game where the player must manage the player's daily activities, such as studying, exercise, and employment. The Virtual Villages series, by Last Day of Work.